Hey, yeah, it's me again, and I give you another Eve news and weather. Today is a day that I should be wearing my glasses when I look at the thing, but I think it is the 8th. Yes, February the 8th of 2025, and this is your update for Eve Online for this week. I'm going to start with the weather today, and then I'll drift off into the news afterwards. Nothing big happening that I know of, but as you can see from my background, I'm not at home. I'm someplace off enjoying the wilds. So, top violence for most violent in the past 24 hours is region is Delve. So something's going on there with 2,800 ships popped and 2,100 pods. So a lot of people were taking the Death Express home. In Losec, the most violent system is Abazon, followed by Rancer, then Velilur, and then Amamake, which I mentioned specifically last time. For High-Sec, it continues to be Witra in the Forge. Now, most active system, I didn't mention this, I think, last time, is the difference between active and violent. Violent is talking about player-on-player, PvP combat. Active is talking about the most NPCs killed. So in the last 3 hours, Veil of the Silent has locked down the top 9 spots. Over the past 24 hours, Veil of Silent, specifically YTAC, Zebra, X-Ray, India, Oscar, is the most violent within the past 24 hours, 38,000 NPCs killed. So they're really working that one. In the past 3 hours, that same system has killed 9,000 NPCs. Me, I would bet on it probably being Ishtar's, but that's just my guess. I don't go there. Now, the thing I want to talk to you about today was speed. And I'm going to talk about this in 2 parts. I'll probably do one part today and one part in a couple of weeks because there's 2 versions of what I want to speak about. Today I want to talk about speed of playing the game, because there was a discussion, and I will probably try to link it and an article that I read down below for you to follow if you want to follow up on things. Speaking of which, no matter whether you see this on Twitter, on Reddit, in the forums, or on YouTube itself, I would appreciate at least a like to say that you watched it and followed it, or a comment or a question or something that you'd like me to talk about in the future. Some interplay would be nice. I'm not going to get any money off of this. I'm not monetized in any way, but just I want this to be a conversation, not just a monologue, which is what it's been so far. So, speed. What I'm talking about is there are people who ask, how do you win Eve? How do you get to the end game? And I've done a big talk about that before, but basically there are players who want to get to specific points or specific goals in the game, and they would like it to be as fast as possible. So there was somebody in the forums complaining that why do they have to train for frigates, destroyers, and cruisers when what they really want to fly is a battleship? They said, can we please remove all of the prerequisites for skills so you can just train the skill that you want, fly the ship that you want, and do what you want without having the build up? This bugged me, mainly because it totally ignored the prospect of Eve being a long game, a game that you play and plan. Now, I don't want to be back in my day, damn kids, get off my lawn. But do you remember how many of you played when there were training skills, that you actually trained a skill so that your other skills would train faster, that you actually had that long a forethought in the game that you actually thought it would be worth investing 3 weeks to a month just so that after that other skills would come faster? We had alarm clocks set to update our training because there was no skill queue. So CCP has recently in the past decade, made things easier for players, but I really disagree with the idea of removing prerequisites and allowing you to just jump to a skill because that's the skill that you want. This will lead to a lot more tourism players who come in, fly, pay money, get in a battleship, lose the battleship, get pissed off, say it's a stupid game, and go home. So it's one of the reasons why we want you to build up and start small, is because then you will lose small. And when you do have the inevitable PvP losses, it's not like you just laid $15 or $20 down and lost that. You lost something that was given to you for free by the career agents. You don't lose as much. So to a certain extent, this is more for their safety than it is for slowing them down in the game. And I know we, in Rookie Help Chat, we'll talk about go back to Fortnite or whatever the current fast game is where you can hop in, play it, and get out. And Eve has some of that. The one that I like to play is I run Abyssals because I enjoy knowing that this is going to last at most 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, either I will have been successful or I will be dead. And so if you want fast, and you can do that in a frigate, if you do T0s, T1s, you can solo a frigate in those with some skill. At T1, you are taking a chance. At T0, pretty much unless you screw up, you're probably going to glide through that, make a couple of mil, and go back and rinse, recycle, play it again. So there is fast game for you, but the speed of the game is a long game. This is a game that we are playing. I'm about 16 and a half years, coming up on 17 years of playing this game. Still love it, still play it enough to be on vacation in a cabin in the woods and take the time to chat with you about a game. I'm not getting anything from CCP for this, although if they want it, hey CCP. But if they don't, I'll live with it. And I'll probably keep doing this. I'll talk to you again in about a week, give or take a day or two. You have yourselves a nice one.